Man, we're starting here. This is exciting.
Yeah, yes it is.
I'm looking forward to it. Guys, everyone, we're back. It's been a while since we've actually had a cast, but I'm James Rauman. With me is the glamorous, the magnanimous, the, I don't know, benevolent Kevin Knocke. I don't know what to call you.
I appreciate magnanimous and benevolent.
Yeah.
I disagree with glamorous, potentially,
Okay.
but I appreciate the other two adjectives. Yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kevin Knocke, and LoL fans out there may not be too familiar with me. I've been around in the StarCraft scene for a couple of years now. I've been a commentator with the IGN Pro League for about that long, and have done some major StarCraft 2 events, but this is going to be my first introduction to League of Legends, a game that I've been playing religiously, maybe the best word for it, over the past 6 months.
Well, the entire team. I mean, we've been like training. We're still obviously not very good, so we're working on it. But guys, if you see us in a ranked game, just feel free to poke at us, have fun.
Yeah.
But this is actually what we're going to be doing is AHGL here. So the game that we're going to take a look at, it's After Hours Gaming League, which is basically company softball. And so we've been playing a lot of League of Legends. We're playing against teams like Curse, their organization. This actual game is against Ernst & Young. For anyone who knows who they are, they're a big financial company and contracting kind of stuff in Pennsylvania. Microsoft, Amazon, EA, all sorts of really cool companies. And we're going to take home the top prize. So we're going to be number one.
I like it, yes. So this is a little weird start because we're actually going to be casting ourselves. Now, I actually wasn't available for this match. I was somewhere in Mexico at the time, so this game is fresh to me. I won't have any clue of what went on over the course of it. For those of you, I'll go ahead and I'll put my credentials out there as meager as they may be to the LoL community. I'm about 1,400 ELO jungler right now. I've been playing, when I say religiously, that's an honest assessment. I've been averaging like 30 to 50 games a week, something like that over the past few months now. So really getting into the game, really trying to find my niche somewhere in the jungle. But I've been cheating on that, I suppose, with top lane recently.
Yeah,
so,
a little bit.
yeah.
But honestly, I will tell you guys, we've been kind of like jumping around roles a lot in the office. And the first day that Kevin played jungle, he played Mundo off the bat. And it's like, yeah, I guess Mundo kind of works. Just try him out. And you had like 5 games in a row, like 10-2 as Mundo. And it was just absurd. And since then, and
We like
Cho'Gath
Mundo.
as well is really good. That works. But the best part about this game, like you said, you weren't in this game.
No.
I was, though. So I get to talk about how good-looking I am and how impressive my play is all day, which
How
is perfect for
overpowered
me.
of a champion you're playing at the same
That's
time.
true.
So
That's true.
Because this was what, pre-nerf Kha'Zix?
This is pre-nerf Kha'Zix, yes.
Okay, all right. So we can talk a little bit about the teams then. Okay, for Ernst & Young, their lineup is Blitzcrank, Maokai, Evelynn, Varus, and Jace. And that initially strikes me as a team that's, with the exception of Maokai and possibly Jace, if you decides to build super tanky right away, they're going to be relatively squishy. They're really good at ganking. They have pretty nice CC, but it seems like they're going to fall off a little bit as they move towards the late game, especially we'll get into the comp later on. But
well, it's interesting. You look at their team, they have great pick-off potential. They have high burst and a decent amount of CC, lots of single target focused stuff. But like you said, kind of squishy, but they also have this weird dichotomy in the team where like half their team is up front and personal. Maokai and Evelynn, they have to just get in there. They want your team to be clumped. And then the other half is trying to sit back. Like Jace in particular, as a bruiser, is very strong, but and his acceleration gate will help set up fights. But at the same time, he's not that frontline tank protecting, taking pressure off of Evelynn. So it's kind of a weird thing here. I will tell you right off the bat, we don't remember exactly what the bans were. I know that Olaf was banned. Because I actually do play a lot of Olaf, and then Ahri was banned. Our main mid player was playing Ahri. Blitzcrank, I'm pretty sure, is the first pick. And then as a response to that first pick, we actually grab Ezreal, because Ezreal is just one of the strongest counters to Blitzcrank. As long as you time the Arcane Shift appropriately, you can get out of there in that bottom lane very effectively. So we actually run Ezreal, Taric in the bottom lane, Orianna mid, Amumu, and Kha'Zix. So awesome wombo combo AoE
That's
team.
amazing. That's just, the potential to me is just ridiculous. Taric's done, Amumu ults, Orianna finishes the rest, Kha'Zix just kills everything. I think this is the motion he makes whenever he throws out his spikes, but all I know is that this happens and then death. So
that's essentially
that's my high-level analysis, by the way, in my first LoL cast, is that this happens and then death, and that equals Kha'Zix.
You just like Kha'Zix is the Zoidberg, and he goes whoop, 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 and then just like
why
walks
not
off.
Kha'Zix?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty exciting. We're actually going to take a look at this game, and hopefully this replay works. Everything, it is kind of unusual because we are running off of LoL replay. And I'm actually just going to get back into this in a second. But this was the first week, and since then we've been trying to test some new things out with our team. We've been trying a lot of different strategies and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
one thing that you talk about testing new strategies and stuff like that, and I feel I have to take it because of the rant you and Nick went on for about an hour last night, is Thresh. You talked about the fact that Ezreal's a pretty good counter to Blitzcrank just because of the fact that he can arcane shift away, he can get out of the grabs eventually, so he's not going to be as susceptible to Blitzcrank's, well, OP ability. Build on top of that, though, now you have Thresh, and Thresh has this cool chain, and it pulls you back a lot of times, and you can't arcane shift out of it.
Yeah, I will have to test it some, but when we actually used it at the time, it seemed like Thresh just kind of, he hit the target, Ezreal tried to arcane shift, and then it pulled him back even so, and that was kind of weird. Like, it was, we weren't really expecting it, and the whole time we're playing, I'm just like, I'm furious. I'm like, even though Nick is playing Thresh, Thresh is on our team, I'm just like, Thresh is so OP. What the hell? This is just not
really
even
good.
fair. I don't feel right playing this champion right now.
Yeah.
Or having Nick play it. But we'll see what's going on in this game. Nick is our support, so to run through roles, I'm playing top. I had been playing AD for us for a while.
Yep.
But we have Robin Wonder, who's a StarCraft caster that's been come on board. He's Tim Vizzer. He's playing Ezreal. Nick is Tarek. Frank Fields is Mirhi. He's actually the StarCraft 2 operations manager, and he's playing Orianna. And then Hat Person, AJ, is actually Amumu, so he's a very strong jungler.
Okay, so jumping into this game to start with, and like I said, thanks very much, and everyone bear with me. This is my first time casting here for the IPL for League of Legends, but I am very excited. Also a little bit sick, so I apologize. Usually the quality of my voice is much more booming and authoritative than it is right now.
And you see right off the bat, one of the things that we actually like to do as a team and that we do in this match is drop a ward over at the blue and then go for a hard engage, because we have a really strong early level team. And we know that if you're going aggressive, it takes some pressure off of Amumu. Amumu's not very strong level 1, obviously, but we are actually moving in through this blue side. They've actually warded their blue as well, so they will get vision of us, but we're going in for kind of a late invade here.
Okay, and it looks like Ernst & Young is positioned towards the bush there to the left side of the mid lane, and I'm not really sure, what their strategies are going to be going into this. Obviously, they have vision of you guys now, and they're starting to make their way over towards blue, but like you mentioned, Amumu's not very good at the beginning at level 1, but let's talk about who has the better level 1 here.
Well, the level 1 for Blitzcrank is absurd, but if he misses that grab or if you can't finish someone off quickly, then it just doesn't work out. But right off the bat, we have a quick engage, some quick burst damage, and we actually don't have the health bars here, but real quick, I pick up the first blood, which is just fantastic for us.
And inflates your ego just a little bit, but I'm okay with that too. So first blood, especially because top lane had tried to get out of there pretty quickly, but I think that was you that was backing just because you hadn't seen anyone, but obviously it looks like now Tim putting some pressure on Maokai there. Maokai forced to back away behind that turret, taking a shot there and avoiding the grab from Blitzcrank. Yeah,
and he actually picks up the kill on Maokai underneath, so 2-0 for our team at the beginning. So we were talking about the level 1 real quick. Didn't have a lot of time to go into it. Varus is very weak level 1. She has some quick damage, he has some quick damage, but not a lot of sustained damage. And now, after a 2-0 start, our team, we're actually hanging out at this blue, and they're making a really good move here to try and stop us from getting away.
Okay, but the 2-kill advantage has already been set, but now as players are starting to restart early in the game, it's going to force those off just a little bit more. Exhaust goes down, and actually Nick's pulled back there. Tarek does manage to flash away, but of course, Summoner down. 2 Summoners actually as that exhausted initially hit him. They really wanted Tarek.
Yeah, so a lot of the Summoners are down for both teams. Varus still has his flash, so he should be pretty safe in that bottom lane, and then both Summoners are up for Blitzcrank, which is actually a big advantage for the bottom lane, though Ezreal did get a kill, and Ezreal hasn't been able to go back to base. So until Ezreal goes back to base to buy some items, he's actually going to be at a disadvantage there. And Amumu's also at a disadvantage because, we weren't able to control that blue. He has to actually go back and heal and go to that red. The big advantage for our team, though, Kha'Zix's up in the top lane, that OP champion, and I start off with the Sapphire Crystal. So I just get a lot of spam ability, but Jace is a very tough lane, just very strong at controlling against melee champions.
Yeah, Sapphire Crystal, but this was also pre-crystalline flask nerf as well, or if you want to call it a nerf. I mean, it is more expensive now, so you were able to start with a lot of potions too. So you have a lot of sustain and a lot of ability up in the top lane. But let's see how things are going down there. It looks like Nick helping out with Red just a little bit as Amumu is still just a bit weak. Tim doing a nice job to avoid the grab from Blitzcrank, though. Backs out of there, runs back over the E from Varus a couple of times, but that's not going to hurt him all that bad.
Yeah, he did take some free damage, though, and he's actually used his health pots from that level 1 and from this early 1v2, as opposed to playing defensively until Tarek is able to get back in that lane. But it does get Amumu into a really good situation, and as long as we farm evenly and don't allow them to pick up kills, like we said, they have a great single target pick-off team. Our team fight potential is just phenomenal. So as long as we can set up the fights that we want, we're going to have a great advantage later on in the game.
So talk to me me about how you guys stretch that advantage, though. You did pick up the 2 kills. You weren't granted that blue right away, and that did slow down Mumu a little bit in the jungle, although it looks like he's recovering nicely and coming up towards top for a gank here in a second. But what's your real goal now to make sure that you keep that advantage and you keep pressing it?
Well, honestly, we don't have the best early level team, but the goal is just to continue to farm. We just want to farm into that mid game. You see actually AJ coming up in the top, and YXE has Coco. He's completely zoned. There's absolutely no hope for escape. He tries running back through the turret.
Oh, wow, but he immediately gets stunned right under the turret and insta-killed. Bandage toss, freezing him there for just a little while, and Kha'Zix is able to finish that off. So 2 kills for Kha'Zix to begin things, and there's nothing you want to give Baron more than 2 kills at the beginning of the game to have him steamroll top lane.
Well, that's absolutely absurd to have that advantage, and I am going to be going for a quick tier with that Sapphire Crystal. Man Immune works really well, but it gives me that spammability in lane, and like I said, we just want to farm for that mid game where we can take control, and AJ coming in for another aggressive gank on mid.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good at doing that. Sometimes gets him in a little bit of trouble as he tends to be under-leveled a bit if he can't actually get anything done at the beginning, but a nice job there. Evelyn goes down, and that's really what Orianna needed right there. Of course, Evelyn has that ridiculously high burst damage. Orianna with a lot of great CC with her ultimate as well, but wants to be able to snowball a little bit earlier to continue out-damaging Evelyn throughout the game.
Well, the 4-0 start is just brutal right now. It allows our bot lane to be very defensive. Ezreal and Taric, and I'm trying not to be biased here, but come on, I'm talking about myself. Ezreal and Taric, they can play that lane very safe. Taric, both of them are strong counters to Blitzcrank, because if Blitzcrank's going to pull in Taric, he can just immediately turn on Varus, get a quick stun, and then back off, and it's not going to be any big deal. Ezreal as well is going to be pretty safe, but AJ, he's actually looking for another gank, and he is just ganking all over the map right now. He's actually being very aggressive as far as map control, and it's working out.
Yeah, Maokai's actually a little bit behind him, and as soon as he sees it, he'll probably start shifting down towards bot. In fact, is already doing so right now. So AJ's ready and primed, has that bandit toss up, but of course, I think he was picked up there on the Tri-Brush ward, so we'll see what he can do here in just a bit.
They do actually ping him off. They had the ward in the Tri-Brush, so they did see him there, and they assume that he's moving down into the bot right now. So they're playing defensively right now, and should be okay. It's going to be really tough to dive for that.
Okay, well, let's take a look at things across the map. Looks like you're doing a nice job of zoning out YXE as Coco there at the top. Jace does get a little bit of damage with that Doran's Blade. It has a fair number of pots wards himself to keep himself safe, but right now, pretty much complete and under control. AJ trying to come in for that gank. Misses the bandage. Toss stun comes down from Taric, though, but not enough damage going to be applied.
Coming in from behind, though, onto Tim here, and it's a dangerous situation, but they have the damage to turn this around.
All right, well, Ignite already used on Maokai right away. Unfortunately, Maokai does finish off Tim. Ezreal goes down, and that is going to be all she wrote for that bottom gang. So first kill on the board now for Ernst & Young.
Yeah, kind of awkward casting when you don't have the health bars. You can't tell that Tim's about to die there, but it works out fine.
Yeah, we didn't know how much health he had going into the engagement or anything along those lines.
And so you see Evelyn actually drops a ward over by the blue. So does Frank, so he's going to be safe there. And I don't know, we'll kind of see how it progresses. If the bot lane starts snowballing against IGN, that could definitely be a great opportunity for Ernst & Young to get in this game. But one of the things that you'll note is mid lane, it's just turning into a farm lane right now. Frank does have a slight advantage, though, so he can use his range advantage to kind of harass Evelyn as long as he keeps vision of Maokai. And so he's actually shying towards the bot side because he has the vision from the river there. So pretty nice lane mechanics.
And knowing these players pretty well, I mean, this is the kind of lane that Frank likes to play, too. While he has a good ability to be able to go, as he calls it, ham on a regular basis under tower, especially if we can get an aggressive gank. He's especially going to want to sit back, try and capture that 200 farm nice and early before the 20-minute mark and see where he can go from there.
And then up in top, you see I actually get that tier, and I'm really close to a Brutalizer, which is going to be brutal.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's...
but here's actually...
Well played.
I will say this was a mistake in this game, and... it is going to be interesting to see how I make up for it, but what I did was when I hit 6, I evolved my wings, because I was 2-0, and I thought I was just going to start stomping Jace, and I am in a great situation here. But having those wings is actually really, it's nowhere near as strong as evolving the W first, because the W gives you that AoE. It's much safer. It allows you to farm more aggressively, and I was kind of thinking that we would just jump in after Jace and jump in for kills constantly, and I'd want that reset.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played Kha'Zix where I haven't just gone straight from Evolve W to E to R in a row, but I don't know, maybe that just fits the playstyle a little bit better here in this case, but in any case, a little bit slower to farm there. Jace was able to go back by a second Doran's Blade, but no, not building towards any late game items, just wanting to try and pick up maybe a quick kill here or two so we can start to try and push back the lane.
Yeah, but Evelyn making the way down bot, and this is a really dangerous spot because they have a lot of burst damage. Maokai's making his way down as well.
Yeah, this is what I was actually thinking when I saw the team comps here at the beginning of the game. Never mind that, we'll talk about it in a second. Ult comes down from Varus there, actually held those units in place for just a little while. Nick going to be able to back up, maybe ignite, not enough to finish him off, heals up and gets out of there, but still another kill for bot lane and certainly what they needed at this point in the game.
Yeah, so that's really dangerous. Tim actually made a nice play juking out of that Blitzcrank hook, but the follow-up burst was just too strong, and now you actually see Jace is actually in control of this top lane. Kha'Zix, myself, is doing a pretty good job of farming with him, but he's actually, I'm in behind right now, so Jace has full health and mana and is able to be aggressive, but in the meantime, our team is doing a great job of pushing this mid. Maokai is coming in from behind, though. It looks like he might try to enforce this.
Yeah, when I saw this team comp right from the very beginning for Ernst & Young, though, I thought it was going to be 4-man gangs on bot all day, all day, all day. And it seems like that's what's going to be able to find a way to get them a little bit of parity back in this game. Nice bandage toss there just to make sure that Frank's able to get away again. We can't see the health, so we don't know how close he was to dying there.
Yeah, and there is some pressure on the bot turret as well. So, you know, like you said, Ernst & Young, that is their crucial point. Getting Evelyn farmed as well is really critical. Jace is going to be okay, but it's actually interesting to note, because he's down, he actually went for double Dorans. And that means that it's a much more melee-oriented Jace. Generally speaking, the build for Jace is Brutalizer. You can go into Last Whisper after that. You can get a Mana Immune or Bloodthirster, but you just want to get Brutalizer as fast as possible and then go pure damage. And getting that Dorans, it's very strong in those melee battles, but it's actually not very strong at poke or those mid-game fights.
Very nice grab there from Blitzcrank, but you saw the power of the Taric Ezreal combo was immediately Tim was able to jump out of that, and the stun came down on Varus right afterwards from Taric. So nice job by Nick and Tim down there. Looks like blue going to be taken here by Orianna, but not much else to report on the map. Pink goes down actually towards Wraiths from Ernst & Young. They do have that freshly warded.
And it's actually interesting, double Dorans on Ezreal. So that's really the reason for Dorans right now. You don't get a lot of sustain from it. It's mostly, you would want to go Vamp Scepter for sustain. It's really just for survivability to last against burst. And that just means he's looking to passively farm here. You know, he will be very strong in those duels, but he's not going to have mid-game damage. So really, Ezreal is just kind of a little bit low against tanky champions. If you rush Warmogs against Ezreal, that tends to be really strong. And not being able to rush like a giant BF sword item could set him a little bit behind.
Yeah, there's actually more Doran's Blades in this game than I've seen in one in a very, very, very long time, as most people have just been going for that Vamp Scepter. You get half the damage of the two Doran's Blades anyway. You don't obviously get the health, but you get a lot of the other benefits associated with the old Doran's Blades.
And Frank here, Mirhi, he actually goes down towards bottom. He is caught out by this ward here, but they were actually attempting a gank, and it was just kind of fortuitous timing, but he does kind of get caught off here. He does see Evelyn and then just back off. And so Jace actually just kind of wasted his time, and now Kha'Zix coming down to the mid, trying to see if he can, you know, force a fight or at least be present for his team.
Well, that was really fortunate, too, because it was still warded next to Wraith. So I mean, Maokai would have had a pretty easy opportunity to get up there, twisted advance, and then stun him inside of the jungle, and Mirhi wouldn't really had an opportunity to escape. So good pickup there. Kha'Zix comes in now, and all 5 over towards Dragon, and I don't know if this is going to be contested by Ernst & Young, but this is going to fall very quickly.
Well, 4v5, we're going to be able to grab this fairly easily. Blitzcrank is coming off on the side, though, so we do have vision of them peeking down.
All right, Dragon is taken. It looks like Maokai throws one of the saplings down in the middle. A bit of an engage from the side. Evelyn trying to poke in and do some damage. Immediately backed out. Orianna throws a shield on top of Kha'Zix there. Everyone backing the way away. Nice shot from Jace. Does manage to get a little bit of damage. Still chasing. A little bit surprised about that. Oh, great grab, though, from Blitzcrank. Pulls him back over to the side next to Dragon. Evelyn picks up the kill, and that is a nice turnaround there, especially making the best of a bad situation with Dragon going down.
Yeah, it was a really good job of them grouping. We stayed together as a group, but the Blitz hook at the end, he grabbed one. We still have a gold advantage. So IGN is still, like you can see, 1.5K up from that Dragon primarily in farm. But that gives them a nice opportunity to push this mid as well, because both, I'm actually low on mana on Kha'Zix, and then Ori's half health, so we can't really defend that aggressively. But you see, I'm actually going back, and then Jace is heading up towards top while they're pushing bot, so they should be able to take this bot, I think. Nope, they back off, actually. So a little hesitant there from Ernst & Young.
Yeah, that would actually have been pretty nice if they would have been able to swap a kill and a turret for Dragon. Wouldn't have been so bad of a trade for them, but as it stands, they back out of there doing a little bit of damage. Turret down to about a 3rd health there. Evelyn feeling a little bit more confident in the middle. I kind of want to take a look. Looks like she went haunting guys first. No real surprise there. Orianna with the chalice to start. So not as much ability power there. Evelyn certainly going to have the burst, but of course Orianna just wants to sit back and hit that passive farming lane as we talked about before.
Yeah, and the key for Ernst & Young right now is splitting the lanes because they have single target pickoff. They want Jace to just constantly be pushing the top lane and keeping Kha'Zix, held there. So just keeping myself held there. But you see, I have just a ton of damage. So compare my items with Jace. I have a BF sword and I'm close to that Brutalizer as well. But you see, the reason Varus went back was to buy a BF sword as well. So that was very strong. And because of the control that Ernst & Young has in the bot and the fact that Jace can just safely push the top, that's actually going to open up opportunities for Evelynn to try and roam along with Maokai and see if they can pick up kills to pull themselves into this game.
So talk to me a little bit about what they were doing down bot there a second ago. Ez and Taric were clearly just trying to push lane very aggressively because it doesn't look like they think they can stand in against the bot line any longer. There is a huge damage disparity, as we talked about before. But what's their game plan now? I mean, how do they start to find their way back in? I mean, it's been 3 unanswered kills now, most of those down in bot lane for Ernst & Young, so IGN has a little bit of work ahead of them.
Well, the real goal is just to get Ezreal farmed enough for those mid-game fights. And like I said, we're 100% focused on those mid-game fights when we can just group up. And the goal is to win like 1 or 2 team fights and win the game off of that. We're not looking for a lot of kills here. It's just, a shock and awe kind of tactic that we're going for. And so Ezreal, he really needs to get his first major BF sword item and then combo with Mumu in the AoE. And you see AJ's coming down here, but Evelynn's here as well, so it's a 3v3.
Oh, and this could actually backfire a little bit. Evelynn getting some good burst damage, immediately throws down an Ignite. Tim forces back out of there, drops his ult for a little while, but the ult does hit from Varus right back, stuns AJ for a little while. Person trying to get out of there manages, actually Evelynn manages to pick up that double kill there, and so a very bad situation, and the Summoners was lost for Taric at the same time.
Yeah, and Frank's actually kind of caught off here as well. They're trying to decide if they want to go in on it, and they are trying to chase him down, but Orianna does have great kiting potential. It's going to be really close. The Blitzcrank's coming in. The flash does hit, and so Blitzcrank isn't able to land that grab, so Orianna is going to be safe there, but that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for those Evelynn ganks, and that's pulled them very close to even in this game. They still have a major disadvantage against Kha'Zix, but as long as they can force fights where Kha'Zix isn't there, this is to their benefit.
Yeah, really Dragon, the only thing separating these two are keeping the gold advantage in IGN's favor at the moment. It looks like Ernst & Young, though, is going to push for this pretty hard. Nick taking some serious damage under turret. 4 men down there, and he immediately falls. Don't know how much damage is left to be done to any of these guys. Again, sorry about the lack of health bars here, just the nature of the replay.
Well, only the finest quality for your first cast, Kevin. That was the goal here.
I'd love to be able to see if he could have picked off a kill while he was down there. Of course, Taric not going to do much in the way of damage, but Ez finally back to try and farm a little bit more. That first turret did go down, but Miri with a nice steal in the middle of the map while Evelynn was away.
Yeah, and that's definitely key. Getting down that mid turret, it means that we're able, if we win one team fight, we're going to be able to get down the second turret without a doubt, maybe even the base turret. So when you have that kind of an AoE comp, it's really important to pressure one lane in particular, while Ernst & Young, they're trying to put map pressure all around. So we'll kind of see what happens. We're still playing pretty passively right now. Like, we haven't hit that critical mass point. You see Orianna in particular, once she gets her first big item, she doesn't have the Grail yet. She should have it when she goes back to base. And then, once she gets some damage like a Rabadon's or Needlessly Large Rod, that's a big key point. And we'll kind of see how that progresses. But it's interesting to note, as I had mentioned earlier, I evolved the wings first, and I'm only level 10 right now, just hitting level 11 actually. And so I haven't been able to snowball my lead. I'm just farming against Jace, and Jace has actually done a really nice job of holding me off in that top lane and just turning it into a farm lane, despite being down 2-0 against Kha'Zix.
Yeah, he can absorb a decent amount of damage. Already has Ninja Tabi there too. Evelynn doing what Evelynn does best, roaming up top for a little bit of a gank, but it looks like Kha'Zix already heading back. That was a close grab attempt from Blitzcrank. Thankfully, Nick not picked up from that, and they can continue to push a little bit bot, but Varus does some serious damage now, starting to feed that Bloodthirster right away. Evelynn coming in for the gank up top, but it looks like Baron's going to get away there, using that ultimate to cloak himself for a little while and get back under turret. Of course, Baron being Baron, though, turns back around and sees if he can sneak any damage left before Evelynn and Chase run away.
That's always the goal. Why turn around when you can go back in? Kha'Zix is just such a safe champion. That's one of the big strengths. Is I'm just sitting there farming, and it's really pretty easy. You see, actually, Frank and AJ, they're actually sitting up here trying to force a fight now. They know that I'm not that far off, and Nick is roaming with them as well. They catch out Evelynn, and there's the Orianna ultimate trying to pick up the quick kill. He will go down fairly quickly, so great play. And it's just a lack of wards from Ernst & Young in the river. They do have the ward here, but they actually didn't catch them in that meantime. And Tim just using his ultimate, trying to desperately to hold down this bot while we're actually pushing mid as a team.
Yeah, I think that Amumu ult went off too. It was just a little bit of a graphical glitch, and you didn't see the entire thing down there. So double CC, and it did pin Evelyn in place long enough for things to get done. But yeah, second turret is under attack here. Blitzcrank obviously not all that tanky, going to be taking a lot of damage from the turret. Eventually it backs off, but of course no support there. Although we do have 5 men converging on bot right now. We'll see if Jason Maokai for Ernst & Young try to decide and come down here to assist, but Varus and Blitzcrank could be in some trouble. And looks like, nope, actually turn around and just go for Dragon.
And so now we have 5 people here, but there's actually only 3 on this Dragon, so they're taking a lot of damage. Amumu in particular takes a lot of damage doing Dragon, so it's kind of a dangerous spot for us. But Kha'Zix is here coming in, making sure that I can zone people off, and so we should be able to grab this. But the big concern for us right now is Varus. How farmed Varus is, 150 CS, and there I am actually jumping in, trying to chase down Plog here.
Yeah, a little bit of damage being done. Of course, we can't see how close he is to death, but we'll find out what ends up happening. Evelyn sneaks a kill on Amumu. You had mentioned that Amumu was getting pretty low before. Orianna actually picked off, and that could be a problem. No ult available. Kha'Zix goes down, and all we have is 2 players left now. No kill for Ezreal before he falls. Only Nick, and he's already well out of there. So a huge turnaround, and pretty good advantage there gained for Ernst & Young. Still down in gold just a tiny little bit, but that's what they needed to start taking a couple more turrets.
Well, that's a brutal 4-for-0, and the reason it happened was we split as a team. So we weren't sticking together as a core. Ernst & Young as a team, they had Varus and Blitzcrank down bot, so they were completely split. And my thought as Kha'Zix was jump on Varus, try and slow them down and force my team there. But unfortunately, Evelyn and Jace have such great pickoff potential, and they were able to use the acceleration gate to get in range. Evelyn slows down everyone, and they just decimated the rest of the team. And so we were kind of picked off there. This is a really dangerous spot for us now. So Ernst & Young, for the first time in this game, has the lead, even though we were able to grab that Dragon. One benefit, though, Kha'Zix is ridiculous at hunting down 80 carries, and Assassins in general are really strong right now. So even though Varus is 3-0-5 and 50 CS ahead of our 80 carry, which is just a massive advantage, we know that if Amumu catches Varus in the ultimate, then Kha'Zix is going to be able to jump back there and insta-kill Varus. And that's really the dangerous threat of Kha'Zix there, and they don't have the best pulling potential for him.
Interesting choices right away. Yeah, Varus actually just went back and bought a Zeal and an Avarice blade there, so adding on some more damage. Very nice job, though. Kha'Zix and Orianna, that wombo combo you were talking about before. There it is. Jace goes down, and that's going to be a top turret that's under pressure now. Taking a look at things, so Amumu got a big advantage just by going back there. It's sad it had to be through a kill, but he goes back, finishes Warmogs from just having a the Spirit Stone and a Ruby Crystal. So he's coming back much more powerful, and Amumu is at least going to provide a little bit of tanking power now, where he didn't have any ability to do so in that last Dragon engagement.
Well, that's huge. Warmogs is still ridiculously OP as of this patch that we're doing. And so it's really insane, because what he can do, like you said, he sets up the fight. Because he's just so tanky, he can run at the enemy team. He doesn't have to worry about dying very quickly. And then when they turn to focus him or turn to fight him at all, then he just ults right in their face and sets us up. And having either Amumu or Kha'Zix for Orianna is really key, because Orianna can just shield onto him and then really quickly jump down for a kill. We are pushing down this tower. Evelyn does get out of there. But another turret for us. This is really a great situation. We pull ahead once again, and we're right at critical mass, because Orianna's finished her Athene's Unholy Grail. I finished Bloodthirster and Brutalizer, so I'm really strong, and then the Warmogs on Amumu as well.
Well, picking up that kill on Jace was maybe more of a moral benefit than anything, too. I mean, it allowed the top to be taken down, don't get me wrong, but I mean, up to that point, you guys started 4-0, and then it had been a 1-for-10 afterwards. Yeah. So that's just a big turnaround, being able to pick someone off, and now you want to win a big engagement. Nice ward there inside of the brush. Oh, Maokai actually getting very far ahead, though. A little surprised he went in that ham, and he immediately gets killed by Orianna. Quick combo there, Taric stunning him in place, and Kha'Zix doing a vast majority of the damage there.
Yeah, and that's half lack of vision, but just not great awareness from the Amumu, trying to chase down YXS Coco, and there's actually the Amumu ult followed by the bandage toss. He will drop down fairly quickly, and we will pick up another kill, so that's really huge. Unfortunately, though, they're pushing down our bot turret, so they know that they can't fight us right now. Like in a full 5v5, if we get off our combos, they're going to be really weak, but they're really getting a lot of damage and threatening our inhibitor very aggressively here.
And Evelyn trying to come in and pick someone off. Obviously, Orianna was a little bit low there, but Evelyn looks like she may pay for it, and does. So big turnaround since the middle part of this game. That's 4 straight kills now for the team, well, that's near and dear to my heart, Team IGN.
Well, that's the goal, Kevin. We're looking for the AHGL wins. There's the bot inhibitor turret, so that is really brutal. And because of Evelyn jumping in, even though we were able to pick up a couple of kills, it actually stalled us. Orianna was low enough that Orianna had to go back. And so Harmonious Fist did a really good job. Even though he sacrificed himself, that sacrifice allowed them to get that inhibitor turret, which means if Ernst & Young is able to pick up a kill right now, they're in a great opportunity to grab an inhibitor, which could potentially pull them into a game victory here. So we have to be very careful. We can't allow them to force fights that aren't to our benefit. We're right now, because we know we will beat them 5v5, we want to just be the ones that are initiating.
Yeah, I was looking around at their champs too to see what their split push potential was as we move towards the later part of the game. No teleports available or anything along those lines, and not the speediest champs in the world, although certainly very annoying mobile ones in the form of Evelyn. But it looks like this may just actually stare down to a big engagement, despite the fact that there is that naked inhib down there. Maybe that's the focal point later on, but I think we're in store for a big showdown here soon.
Well, and that's why the key for Ernst & Young is to keep up good vision. They don't have a lot of wards right here, and Oracles was nerfed, so you will notice there aren't any Oracles on the game, but it actually would have been to IGN's benefit, our benefit, to grab that Oracles, because right now, Ernst & Young, if they have vision of us, they can maybe dictate the pace of the fights and dictate when we're fighting and try and pick people off. So that's their main goal.
All right, well, all 5 group for IGN in the middle. Varus was a little bit split there with Blitzcrank. Looked like thinking about moving down and around, maybe just warding Dragon there for a second. But pretty strong push to just make sure that mid is moving forward. And it looks like top lane may have a little bit, just slight moment. No, never mind. There goes the Ezreal, and that's going to have momentum for IGN Pro League here in a second. Yeah,
that's one of the nice things about Ezreal. Right now, though, we don't have vision. We drop a ward into the Dragon Pit. We know that Dragon's going to be spawning shortly, and we do ping off. So we did get, kind of a sneak peek walking past that Dragon Pit, and we're assuming that they're sitting right here. And this is one of these weird things where I believe at the time there was like a graphical glitch where we actually saw Blitzcrank as he was sitting right on the edge here. We had a slight vision advantage, which is actually allowing us to group up towards the bot and see if we can push in.
All right, well, that ward expires, and I think Amumu just saw that too, so pretty clear that Ernst & Young has vision. Oh, but Baron gets pulled right over the wall. This is going to be a pretty sizable engagement. It's on the Varus ult go off. Everyone's stunned in place, but Amumu turns around everything. Maokai ult down on top of people. It doesn't matter. The damage is too great so far from Amumu. Grabs 2 kills, finally gets killed there by Varus, but I don't think he has too much life left, and it looks like he may be turned around pretty quickly.
Yeah, I actually almost went down there as Kha'Zix, the stun going off onto Evelyn, trying to chase him down. They are taking some quick damage from Evelyn and can't pick up that kill, but Varus is in a dangerous spot. Kha'Zix jumps back in once again. There's the cleanse, trying to get them out of there, and so we do back off. We aren't able to finish that, but that's 3 kills for only 1 for us, which is just a huge situation. We wanted to force that fight. You saw immediately, I was actually hooked in as Kha'Zix, but then Orianna had a great ultimate followed by Amumu, and then I immediately just used my E to jump out of there. So we are able to secure that dragon, and that's a 2K gold lead for us right now. And Ernst & Young has to just be, really shooting themselves right now, because they know that if they allow us to get off our combo, get off our AoEs, then they're going to lose the fight. So they're looking for opportunities around the map. And you see Jace still behind. Like we had mentioned the Dorans earlier, he has the Black Cleaver, but he doesn't have the Last Whisper yet, 25 minutes into the game. So he was farming pretty well, but it's still putting them at a slight disadvantage because he is more of a melee Jace and not able to poke us down quite as much as he would like to.
It was a hilarious image, too, just to think about. They're just shooting themselves. Like, he didn't have any other follow-up to that. So I think Ernst & Young is just shooting themselves right now. So I hope not. I hope they're doing all right.
Isn't that how the phrase goes?
Okay. I hope everything's okay back at home for them. Certainly there are opportunities for help available. Anyway, everyone's starting to gather back towards the middle now. Big advantage for IGN at this point. Besides that dragon, you can see that turret's still a little bit in Ernst & Young's favor at the moment, 4-2. So there are still objectives to be taken, especially I would imagine that bot lane looks juicy here in a bit.
Yeah, but we're looking to push now, and so Ezreal gets some quick momentum on the bot. We don't actually push the turret because our main focus is this mid lane, and as long as our AoE ults are up, we want to just force a full fight where we get a perfect combo. That's actually what Ernst & Young is going to be looking to do, is make us try and bait out the ults and not drop to them. So if our AoE ults are down, then Ernst & Young will actually have a pretty decent chance. But if we pick off anyone, then that is it. So we're going to look to push mid now.
And this is kind of what I was talking about before, too. The Ernst & Young team starting to get a little bit squishy. Never mind that. We'll talk about that here in just a second as Blitzcrank dies immediately as Ult follows that up. And that is for sure going to be a turret. It looks like Maokai and Evelyn may decide to come around here and try and pressure, but a lot of damage already being done despite the lane clearing power of Varus. Varus dived actually by Baron, goes right on top. And Tim manages to pick up the turret. Amumu comes in right behind, too, with the bandage and the ult afterwards. Evelyn does manage to pick off Kha'Zix, but immediately falls herself to Ez right afterwards.
Yeah, so that's a great advantage for us. Almost a 5-for-1. I'm the only one that goes down as Kha'Zix, but it's that Kha'Zix-Orianna combo once again. We're fine with single target pickoffs because we know as long as we're not using all of our ultimates for one pickoff, then we're going to be able to pressure them, and we just use that for an inhibitor. So we jump in for one kill. We didn't actually grab Varus in that situation. Varus barely got out of there, but it worked out to our advantage. And now having that inhibitor down, we know that we can pressure them very aggressively in this situation. Like we can just push anywhere around the map, and they can't really answer us, because they can't force a full 5-on-5 fight. They're the team that needed to be able to pick us off, and when we dictate the tempo, that's just not able for them to happen.
Yeah, going back to what I was saying before, though, you were talking about, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, they have to get their assassins in. They have to be able to do any sort of damage that they can to champs who are split off, but they simply just can't do that anymore. You guys have been running as 5 for a while, not been split, and now you're just way tankier than they are at this point. Just way, 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 way tankier. Just the Warmogs and the Spirit of the Ancient Golem alone on Amumu is going to be enough to provide a little bit of staying power inside of fights, and Maokai just has nothing to match. He only has the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He's going for Kindle Gem now. Don't know if that's going to be for Shirelius, but I would imagine so here in just a bit. But that's still not going to provide the tank ability he needs.
Well, that's actually exactly right. The fact that he has that Warmogs and the Spirit, he's just so tanky. I'm actually going to check his HP, 3,200 right now. So they don't have the damage. They have really good damage, but they don't necessarily have the quick burst damage to take down Amumu in time to survive through that ultimate. So, that's definitely a really key point for them. You do see Evelyn is getting really farmed. So once Evelyn finishes that Rabadon's, the AoE from Evelyn, could potentially turn it around. That's definitely a nice opportunity for them. And in particular, if they can keep Varus alive, Varus is really strong, but Varus has started to actually have to get armor. So getting the chain vest, that's going to reduce some of Varus' damage. And really, because I have Last Whisper on Kha'Zix, it's kind of inconsequential. It's just not enough to deal with as much armor pen as I have.
I mean, Evelyn's going to be really powerful, but it seems like her, I mean, she obviously loves large groups of people all stuck together, so she can just burst them down as quick as possible. But it seems like your team comp kind of runs counter to that. I mean, yes, Amumu's going to get right involved in the middle of them, but he's not the one you want to be focusing your abilities on. Then once you have Oriole that follows up Amumu's, they're all grouped together, and you guys are still sitting on the outside doing some damage, with the exception of you, who jumps in with your spikes and jumps. So I don't know. It just seems like Evelyn's going to fall off just due to the nature of her character over the course of this game.
Yeah, it is going to be a struggle. Ezreal's just so safe. Evelyn kind of needs to consider coming in behind us and trying to pick off either Evelyn or Orianna, or in particular both. But they're just kind of struggling to single target focus, and right now it's still not an insurmountable advantage. But we're trying to force a fight here. I actually jump in with the slow, can't quite pick them off, and it's a ward war right now. We know that we have really a lot of wards. Orianna picked up a couple, and then we also have the Spirit Stone, the Ruby Sight Stone onto Taric, and so we're just sitting there. We know that they have an Oracles. Evelyn had killed one of our wards with the Oracles, and we're just sitting there waiting for Evelyn to come clear these wards so we can just force a big fight and just ace them.
All right, well, they are in position to do so. Looks like Maokai actually going to go ahead, and that's certainly what they need at this point. But there's the Ez ult leading things. Actually does connect with Varus and pushes him off the fight at the beginning, which allows the left side to actually be pushed up by IGN. They're not able to pick anyone off. They do some great damage and force everyone off of Baron. That could open up a Baron to them, or at least start trying to do it and force the engagement there.
Yeah, it did force the flash from Maokai, and now we know they're playing so defensively right now. They're not even, buying our bluff. We were trying to bluff them into that Baron pit, but they're just sitting back, so we're just going to kill it very quickly. You see it drops almost instantly. 2,000, 1,000, we get the quick Baron. We get out of there before they even have a chance to respond, because they've been playing that very defensively.
Yeah, and Amumu just the slightest bit away from landing that bandage toss, and that would have been a dead Maokai. But as it stands now, Baron goes to IGN. They're up by 3.9k gold, and that mid inhibitor looks like a juicy target once again.
Yeah, so it is going to be spawning very shortly, so we're going to need to regroup for that. But then the goal is, once again, we have this AoE team. We're going to push down the bot, but we really just want to win one fight and then take the Nexus. We grab the Dragon because it's just a free advantage right now. Not everyone's level 16 to 18, but you look at the levels, and we actually have a decent advantage. So Orianna and Ezreal are both 16, whereas Evelyn is 15, so not getting that third ultimate on Evelyn. And Kha'Zix, I am just incredibly fully farmed at this point, so I have just an insane amount of damage for team fights.
Well, that was a big turnaround from the middle of the game, too, when both Tarek and Amumu were both sitting at levels lower than their respective counterparts on the other team. So nice to be back in that regard, too, forcing the damage here at the Tier 2 turret bot, but looks like he's just going to everyone's going to move off of that, take blue, and regroup for a fight, although that is warded for both people.
Yeah, and right now we're a little bit concerned. We don't think that we can force a full fight underneath the turret. Amumu's probably tanky enough, but without a lot of armor, he's just stacking full HP right now. We don't want to risk that. So we're actually just transitioning back and forth. We're moving into the top now. We know because we had held them bot, we have a shorter distance to the top. Pick up the quick turrets, so we're going to be able to grab all of these outer turrets and then still have time left on our Baron to force that one fight.
And I want to commend Tim, too, for doing a nice job after that early disadvantage where he started 1-3-0 to actually sit back on the edge of fights and get in some pretty good damage, well-timed ults as well to farm across the map, and has done a really nice job of trying to match the damage that Varus is able to put on the map.
Well, and that's one of the really dangerous things about our team, because we have such an aggressive team. It means that they can't put any pressure onto Ezreal at all. So as long as Ezreal is farmed enough to deal a lot of damage, we're just going to be able to win all those situations because our AD carry isn't anywhere near as pressured as Varus. Tim, quick arcane shift over there. We're going to be able to pick up this outer turret as well, and they're playing hesitantly because they know they're at a 6k gold deficit right now, and we have this nasty AoE team, so they can't afford to allow us to get a really nice engage there.
Okay, well, Ernst & Young, options are running out for them. The problem, too, is that their whole team is designed around picking people off, and, well, the fact of the matter is no one in IGN is getting caught out. Blitzcrank, of course, sitting over that wall, wanting to hook someone to try and turn this around into a 4v5 when the engagement actually happens, but no one's given themselves up for it yet.
Yeah, now we are trying to push this inhibitor. We know once we get past that opening, it's going to force Ernst & Young's going to be able to split. They're going to be in a really great opportunity, but they actually force a fight when we're still at the advantage.
Right, and here's exactly what I was talking about before. Evelynn is just isolated because she can't actually get on more than one person at any given point in time, so her burst damage just does not do that much, and it's immediately a 3-for-0 to start this, and it may just end up being an ace right here.
I'm trying to pick him up. There's the triple kill for myself. Oh, man, I am looking so good, but Amumu picks up that one as well. So we do back off. That is an ace. We do. It was a really good fight for us. In particular, what happened was Evelynn was trying to force a fight when we were all in a tight AoE. So they forced us back into this little AoE, and Evelynn was thinking, whatever, we'll just go for it. We can't let them take our base. And Tarek actually got a really nice stun onto Evelynn. So once Evelynn was stunned, I just dove onto Evelynn as Kha'Zix, then immediately dove onto Varus, and there's just no protection. So it was just a really great game of leapfrog there, and perfectly set up for those kills. And that's IGN's game number 1. AHGL, we're 1-0. We beat Ernst & Young.
And then I came back to the team next week and we lost.
Well, that was the surprise, Kevin. That's the next game that's going to be on the stream. That was a secret.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were able to win. I was very happy with it. We were all just like ecstatic because I actually didn't think we were going to do that well. But the goal is number 1, and that's what we're going for. So there's the IGN Wombo Combo Super Kha'Zix comp.
I hope you guys are seeing what we're seeing too, because right now our confidence monitor shows this like sweet oil painting overlay or something like that on us. I look kind of like artwork now. No, apparently it doesn't. But
or something like
well. Well, hope you guys enjoyed it. It was my first cast for League of Legends. It's you'll see me a lot more on here. I'll be casting League, StarCraft 2, Shoot Mania, any new titles we pick up as I start to try and branch into becoming more of a variety gaming commentator. Everything's pretty much all I play right now, much to the chagrin of the StarCraft community, I imagine. But it was very fun, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Kevin, it was a blast. I'm looking forward to more casts in the future. Hopefully some that have health bars, and that you can actually follow what's going on in the team fight. But that's going to be the goal, guys. Looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, guys. The next match we're actually going to show on the stream is going to be our Week 2 match. So, Kevin, you hopped into the jungle. We were looking for some of the same kind of magic, some of the same chemistry, and we'll kind of see how that works. We actually had some StarCraft community casters help us out with that. But,
that's right.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Kevin, that's the first cast. I will remember this day. Oh, my God, my hand. This is a beautiful thing here. Do you guys remember the day that Kevin Knocke first cast his game of League of Legends? This is it. So thanks, Kevin. And that'll be it. So thanks, guys. Buy your tickets, IGN.com/IPL6. You got to get your tickets now. It's $15 for general admission. It's going to be March 28th through 31st. And that'll be it for the day.
See you guys later. Have a great day.